Yeah, what's happening? We about to bring that action. Gotta hold it down for my Seattle Kraken. Hey, we going beneath the waves. We going beneath the waves. Get it hype, step onto the ice. Ready for some action. Release the Kraken. Hey, we going beneath the waves. Going beneath the waves.
What is up, everybody? Welcome in to the Beneath the Waves podcast, your weekly recap of all things Seattle hockey and beyond. I am Matt.
I'm Heather.
I'm Derek.
And I'm Alex.
And this is episode 31 of the BTW pod, and we have an exciting show lined up for you today. I think this might be the most densely loaded pod that we've had in, I can't even remember since when, and just also the most hyped we have been to record about Seattle hockey in quite some time. There's lots of doom and gloom and dread towards the end of the Seattle Kraken season that we were just not feeling it. But we are living in a different world now, my friends, because this was a huge, all in caps week for Seattle hockey this week, as we have now gone through the PWHL Seattle expansion process. Now, up to this point, we've had Heather do little mini pods on off days to kind of introduce the team and all that stuff, but not no more. PWHL Seattle is here, and they are getting main show top billing here on Beneath the Waves. So Heather, can you please kick off our show this week by breaking down all that happened with PWHL Seattle?
I am so thrilled to be talking to you all today because Seattle has its 12 first players for the PWHL Seattle's hockey team, and I cannot wait to talk about all of these players. I'm going to talk about the exclusive signing window. I'm going to talk about the expansion draft. I'm going to give a little bio on all of these players, and I think you're going to hopefully leave this audio just feeling stoked and just like you cannot wait for the team to get started and drop the puck. So with all that being said, let's dive into the exclusive signing window. So when the protected list came out, I had 3 players in my head that I was particularly shocked about not seeing on those lists from the other teams. I even had tweeted out this exact phrase: I'm still losing my mind over a potential team with Hilary Knight, Alex Carpenter, and Corinne Schroeder. So, spoiler alert, not only did those 3 end up on the same team, but they ended up on our Seattle team. Talk about the dream team there. But let me break down the first 5 players that we signed to the PWHL Seattle team. And just as a quick reminder, PWHL Seattle and PWHL Vancouver had a 5-day exclusive signing window where they could sign a maximum of 5 players that were on expiring contracts or that were not protected. So that's the first group of players that we're going to talk about. Let's talk first about our first ever signed player. This is someone who I think we all had on our list of players that we were hoping for, like crossing our fingers for, like just being too excited to potentially get. Yes, it's Hilary Knight. So PWHL Seattle signed the 35-year-old originally from Sun Valley, Idaho, Hilary Knight, to a 1-year contract. She was formerly a member of the Boston Fleet. In fact, she was captain of the Fleet since she signed as one of its OG signings before the inaugural season, and was the co-winner of the 2024-25 PWHL Points Leader Award. Knight is also a finalist for the 2025 Forward of the Year and Billie Jean King MVP Awards. In 54 regular season games, she had 40 points, made up of 21 goals and 19 assists, and in this most recent season, she had 29 points, comprised of 15 goals, 14 assists in 30 games. She represented the U.S. in 4 Olympic Games and won 3 silver medals and 1 gold medal. She also won 5 silver medals and 10 gold medals at 15 IIHF Women's World Championships. She had the record for the most Olympic Games played by an American women's hockey player and is the all-time leader in goals, assists, and points in the tournament. The PWHL Seattle general manager Megan Turner said, "Signing Hilary Knight was an absolute no-brainer no-brainer. She's the heartbeat of any team she joins. Her proven leadership and drive, the way she elevates everyone around her, those are qualities you can't teach. Hillary's not just a game changer on the ice, she's the kind of person who defines a culture, and we're incredibly proud to have her as the first ever player to join PWHL Seattle. Hillary Knight said, "I'm incredibly proud to be part of bringing professional women's hockey to the Pacific Northwest. Seattle holds a special place in my heart, and I'm beyond excited to join PWHL Seattle in such a storied sports city. I'm grateful to Megan Turner for believing in me and bringing me on board as part of this new chapter." Now, there's been a lot of speculation around Hillary Knight potentially retiring from hockey soon, but she recently told Kenzie Lalonde at TSN that the 2025-26 season won't be her last playing pro hockey, but that the 2026 Olympics will be her last Olympics. And then she went on to say that she kind of wanted to keep the professional hockey world and the Olympics separate, and I think that's kind of what we're seeing. So while we only have her on a one-year deal, we'll see. We might be able to, I don't know. I want to already extend her, but we haven't even seen her play with the team yet. But I'm so excited that we have Hillary Knight as our first ever PWHL Seattle player. The second player signed to PWHL Seattle is 24-year-old forward Danielle Serdachny. She was formerly of the Ottawa Charge, and the team signed her to a 2-year agreement that will last through the 26-27 season. This past season, her rookie season, she tied the team for lead in rookie scoring with 2 goals and 6 assists. Originally from Edmonton, Alberta, she has played for Team Canada in 3 Women's World Championships, where she's received 2 silver medals and 1 gold medal, where she's even scored the game-winning OT goal for that gold medal. She was the second overall picked in the 2024 PWHL Draft. Serdachny said, "I'm absolutely thrilled and honored to join PWHL Seattle. I'm eager to contribute to building a remarkable legacy for this incredible city. I'm excited for what's ahead and grateful for the opportunity to be one of the team's first signees." And Megan Turner said, "Danielle is a tremendous addition to our group. She's strong, plays through contact, and she's only beginning to tap into her full potential. Her ability to possess the puck and make plays under pressure will be a big asset for us as we build the identity of PWHL Seattle." The first defender signed to PWHL Seattle is 26-year-old Kayla Barnes from Montreal Victoire, who signed a 3-year agreement with the team. In her rookie season, this 2024-25 season, she ranked 5th among all PWHL rookies with 13 points comprised of 2 goals and 11 assists in 30 games, and she tied for lead scoring among defenders on the Victoire. An Eastvale, California native, she has played for Team USA in the Olympics, winning a silver medal and a gold medal, and also has been at 6 Women's World Championships, getting 3 silver medals and 3 gold medals. Barnes was the 5th overall pick in the 2024 draft. Turner said, "Adding Kayla is a big step for our team. She's a dynamic defender who moves the puck well and consistently contributes offensively. Even as a rookie last season, she played with the poise and presence of a veteran, and we see her playing a key role on our blue line." Barnes said, "I'm thrilled and thankful for this opportunity to join PWHL Seattle in its inaugural season. The passion for women's hockey has proven that Seattle is truly a hockey town, and I can't wait to get started. I'm looking forward to returning to the West Coast and to get to know the fans, the city, and the hockey community in Seattle." The fourth player to join PWHL Seattle is 31-year-old forward, originally from North Reading, Massachusetts, Alex Carpenter, who signed a 1-year agreement. She comes to the team from the Sirens, where she played the last 2 seasons, was one of their first 3 ever signings, and was an alternate captain. With 43 points in 50 games played, she ranks 3rd all-time in PWHL career points. She also is tied for 1st in all-time power play points in the PWHL as well, with 15 goals and 13 assists. She's a finalist for the Billie Jean King MVP Award and the Forward of the Year Award, as well as being voted a first-team All-Star. She has 2 silver medals from representing Team USA in the Olympics and is a 7-time world champion. She's also played in the PWHPA, CWHL, PHF, and in Russia. Carpenter said, "I am very excited for the opportunity to be part of PWHL Seattle in its inaugural season. Joining Seattle, a city known for its passionate sports fans, is something I'm truly looking forward to. I'm eager to build something special and bring a championship to Seattle." Megan Turner said, "Alex is a true competitor who brings intensity every time she steps on the ice, an elite 2-way player who has proven to be one of the best in the world for years, and she has the ability to take over a game at both ends of the ice. She's hungry to win and brings the kind of drive that sets the tone for the team. We're excited to have her join us as we build the foundation of our team." And in the last of the exclusive signing window players, the team got their goalie with 25-year-old Corinne Schroeder, Elm Creek, Manitoba native, who has signed a 2-year agreement. Schroeder was an inaugural player with the New York Sirens and has played 35 games over her 2 seasons in the league. She recorded the league's first ever shutout against the Toronto Scepters during the league's inaugural game on January 1st, 2024. This past year, she had 4 shutouts, even having back-to-back shutouts twice, which led all goaltenders. She's third in all-time saves with 1,005 and was a finalist for the 2024 PWHL Goaltender of the Year award. Megan Turner said, signing Corinne is a huge step for our team. With 4 shutouts this season, more than anyone in the league, she's shown she can take over a game and deliver it when it matters most. She brings poise, confidence, and the kind of elite goaltending every team needs to win. And we can't wait to see her between the pipes for us. And Schroeder said, I'm incredibly honored and excited to be joining PWHL Seattle next season. The city has such a remarkable sports culture, and I'm eager to contribute to and build upon with our team. I'm looking forward to meeting all the passionate fans and joining the Seattle hockey community. I can't wait for puck drop out west. So I don't think that the team could have done any better with this signing window. Like 3 players I had on my dream team list for sure, and 2 more players that are absolutely incredible. We look at these players as basically they're fast players, they're physical players, they're solid, they're consistent. And one of the words that kept coming up looking at these 5 was poise and leadership. And I love that because that's something that I think really helps to build a first season team and start working on that identity. So I was feeling really pretty confident with these first 5 players, but the expansion draft was quickly approaching and our next 7 players as well. The expansion draft took place on Monday, June 9th, and Vancouver won the draft lottery. They had the choice of either getting the first overall pick or the second and third overall pick. They decided on the first overall pick, and from there, the draft was done like a snake draft. So they picked 1, we picked 2, etc. So with the second overall pick, PWHL Seattle selected Anita Teralova. She's a defender from the Ottawa Charged. She's originally from Prague, Czechia, and represented her country both at IIHF Women's World Championships, winning 2 bronze medals, but also at the 2022 Olympics, getting 2 points in 5 games. Last season, she played 30 regular season games and had 1 goal and 9 assists. During the playoffs, she played 8 games and had 1 goal and 1 assist. She's a great puck mover, especially getting it through the neutral zone, and she was also hitting around 20 minutes per game last season. At pick number 3, we chose Hannah Bilka, a forward from the Boston Fleet. Bilka is the 4th pick in the 2024 draft, and we were all pretty excited to get Hannah. The 24-year-old Coppell, Texas native represented the U.S. in the IIHF Women's World Championship for 3 straight years, earning 2 silver medals and 1 gold medal. Last season, she did get injured, but she played 16 games and had 5 goals and 6 assists. Bilka is really exciting for us. She's very fast, and she's a super smart winger. She's a playmaker too, and just so fun to watch. I think everyone's really going to enjoy her. At the 6th overall pick, we chose Jessie Eldridge, a forward from the New York Sirens. Originally from Barrie, Ontario, the 27-year-old Eldridge represented Team Canada in the 2022 IIHF Women's World Championship, where she won a gold medal. Last season, she played 30 games, had 9 goals, 15 assists, and she's top 10 in all-time scoring with 38 points in 54 games. So another top 10 scorer here for us. Just incredible that we're getting somebody like that. At pick number 7, we have Julia Gosling, a forward from the Toronto Scepters. The London, Ontario native played on Canada's World Championship team, scoring 2 goals in 7 games to help Canada win gold in 2024. This past season, she played 30 regular season games, had 4 goals and 6 assists. She also played 4 playoff games where she had 3 goals. Amazing. Gosling is another really fast skater who brings that physicality, and that's something that Megan Turner said she was really looking for while she's building this roster. At pick number 10, we have Anna Wilgren, a defender from the Victoire. Originally from Hudson, Wisconsin, Wilgren played for Team USA at the 2023-24 rivalry series. She captained the Minnesota State Mavericks for 3 seasons where she played 114 games, getting 17 goals and 34 assists. She then transferred to the University of Wisconsin, where she played 40 games, had 2 goals, 22 assists, and blocked 55 shots. Last season, she played 30 regular season games, had 3 goals and 6 assists, and during the playoffs, she played 4 games and had 3 assists. She's a super solid defender, and she's really smart, specifically when her team's own zone. So looking forward to her defending the net here. At pick number 11, we had Megan Carter, a defender from the Toronto Scepters. The Milton, Ontario native was named the inaugural Hockey East academic champion, which acknowledged her outstanding on ice and academic performance. She led the Hockey East defenders in points during her final NCAA season with 25 points, and last season she played 19 regular season games, 4 playoff games, and had 1 assist throughout. She's going to be really that physical presence that the team needs on the ice for sure. And then at pick 14, we have Emily Brown, a defender from the Boston Fleet. Originally from Blaine, Minnesota, Brown played for Team USA at the 2022-23 rivalry series and made her professional debut for the PWHPA in 2022. Her collegiate award list is staggering, including several WCHA All-Academic and All-Big Ten Scholar and Athlete awards. Last season, she played 29 regular season games and had 1 goal and 3 assists. During the playoffs, she played 8 games and had 2 assists. Brown is someone who I view as that steady presence on the ice who doesn't panic when things may be going a little bit funky, so great pickup there. To wrap up this sort of recap of all our players, after the expansion draft, Megan Turner said that she was thrilled with the roster and comfortable with it. She specifically said, Bilka, Carpenter, and Knight. I'm really excited for that line. I'm also stoked about a second line with Serdachny, Eldridge, and Gosling. Just a powerhouse. All tall in stature, strong, big, nice hands, good shots, can create some sustained offense. I'm really excited for both those 2 top lines. Honestly, I think we all should be excited because this team is absolutely fucking stacked. The team is not only going into the next season with 3 members of the top 15 scorers from last year, like they're the only ones that are. So I seriously cannot even contain how elated I am over this. And we're just getting started. Every day we're hearing, more movement among the team and the players. And I think a lot of players want to come and play for Seattle. And I think that's just so amazing and just such a testament to the city and how much they're embracing hockey in general, but especially women's hockey. Everybody watches women's sports. And I think I've just said that in almost every podcast we've done. I know that a lot of people are frustrated with this draft because, it does take a lot from those inaugural 6 teams, but when you only have 6 teams to choose from and really trying to make the other 2 expansion teams competitive, it does make it really difficult. I'm not 100% sure a different way that they could have done it to, not pull so many of these great players from the teams. But I will say, one of the things I did like is as the players were being picked and these teams were able to protect other players because they hit those limits, that was, if they had 2 chosen from their team, they could protect somebody else. So that was being implemented left and right during these, both the signing window and the expansion draft. So that did help some, I think, but I still think the 6 inaugural teams are going to be competitive. I don't think that took away their competitive edge or anything. But I do think it's going to be interesting to see, as the PWHL grows in general, how this expansion draft sort of, grows and changes over the years. But, for right now, I think we just have to be so excited to be a PWHL Seattle fan, name to come. The other thing I saw is that, they're working on getting a coach, but didn't want to rush it. So that's something that will be exciting to see whenever we get that name and know, that's another step that we're taking too. Also, I'm going to continue to use a thesaurus to find more words for exciting because I think I have used that word way too much. So I will work on that. Next up for the PWHL, we have some dates to look forward to. We basically have free agency. It's the signing window for players that are on expiring contracts. That opens on Monday, June 16th at 9 a.m. Eastern. And then the exciting another draft, the 2025 PWHL draft happens on Tuesday, June 24th at 7 p.m. Eastern. So we're getting really close to some more steps being taken and just getting even closer to puck drop. So I hope that you're looking forward to this as much as I am. And again, can't wait to share this experience with you and can't wait to see you at a game.
Awesome, Heather. Thank you for that amazing breakdown of the very exciting week that we just had. And for the rest of us in the room, Alex, do you have any thoughts on this new squad?
It was very enjoyable watching the PWHL expansion process, kind of seeing how both teams worked the way that they did, drafting, the two players at a time. I thought it was really quite cool. I just want to say that when you look at the Seattle team, it's truly stacked. It really is. And I'm very excited to watch this team in their inaugural season next year. I don't know about anyone else, but I do believe that Seattle is the team to beat next year. And the one question I really want to pose to a lot of people is how many Walter Cups do the PWHL Seattle team win before the Seattle Kraken even get a sniff of the playoffs? Because I can tell you, I'm thinking it's more than one.
Now, Derek, you and I actually spent the draft together as we were in the Beneath the Waves war room getting graphics and posts and stuff out. How are you feeling as everything went down and with where we are currently sitting?
You know, Matt, arguably the most exciting thing for me has been how much of a breath of fresh air this new team is. The last 2 years of abysmal Kraken hockey, with a near future that a lot, if not most folks say will provide no way out, it's really gotten me down and a little bit bored on hockey, to be honest. It's been so nice to get invested in these brand new players to me. There's a world of opportunity here, and due to how fortuitous the expansion process has been, it looks to be an extremely exciting endeavor to be a part of. I just hope they're able to go out there and look at least league average next season, because even that would be a huge step up from the last 2 years of the Kraken.
So like I said before, Derek and I were in a call together taking in the PWHL Expansion Draft action, and I just gotta say out the gate first, kudos to all the reporters out there who report on this stuff full time, always have their stuff ready to go and put things out, because Derek and I were sweating at a couple points in this expansion draft, trying to process all the information, who was coming in, where they were coming from, how well they did last season, getting their picture, all this kind of stuff. We hope that you really liked the things we put out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those places. If you're not following us there, go check it out at BTWSEA. And as hectic as it was really fun. And at the end of the day, I think Dave Niehaus, former announcer for the Seattle Mariners, legendary baseball announcer, said it best, and I think it reflects what I'm thinking right now, and that is my, oh my. I am feeling so good about this team. I have been, admittedly, pretty blinders on regarding the PWHL. I've loosely followed along with it, but I couldn't tell you this person from the other person unless they're on a Canadian Tire commercial up here in Canada. But now I am all in. I spent pretty much my entire day on Tuesday researching all these players, diving headfirst to learn more about them, finding out who my new favorite is going to be, who this person is, what that person does best. And I'm so stoked. I am so fucking stoked about this team and getting a favorite. Who am I going to get on my jersey that I eventually get? Will it be Hillary Knight? That seems like an early contender. We have like Hannah Bilka, who's a young, sure to be star for this team that's going to be around for a while. Fingers crossed, hopefully. The one thing I'll say with this, and Heather touched on it as well, is, was this maybe the best way to do the draft? I don't know. I don't get paid the big bucks to make those decisions. People were hurt, and I did see a post on, I believe it was either Reddit or Twitter, I can't remember where, of someone saying that going through this draft process from an expansion team perspective really seemed like there was real like enjoyment sap happening. Anytime you would go and say, man, I'm so pumped for this team, someone from another team would come in and say, oh, it was totally stacked in your favor. You have a superpower team now. This just isn't fair at all. And all I have to say to that, and all I said to a few people, is like, I'm going to allow myself to be pumped up about this team. I am not going to let someone having their players taken away yuck my yum, for lack of a better term, because guess what? More expansion's coming, and we might be in the same position as they are next year. So for now, I'm going to enjoy the ride. I'm just going to take in all the PWHL Seattle content that I can ahead of puck drop in the fall. And man, again, my oh my, what a time to be a Seattle hockey fan. The fastest game on ice just hit another gear. Welcome to the Stanley Cup playoffs, where legends are made and every shift could turn the tide. And now, with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you can take every slapshot, breakaway, and overtime thriller to the next level. New to betting on the Stanley Cup playoffs? You're in for an exciting time. Getting started is a breeze. Fire up DraftKings Sportsbook app, pick your team to win, lock in your wager, and you're off to the races. It's fast, simple, and puts you right in the middle of the action. Here's the kicker. New customers who bet just $5 will score $300 in bonus bets if their wager hits. That's right, turn $5 into a playoff payout. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code THPN. That's promo code THPN to unlock $300 in bonus bets when your $5 bet wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice.
So we don't want you to worry. There is still some Kraken news in the Seattle hockey space this week. The unveiling of the PWHL Seattle roster was not the only Seattle hockey news from this week. On Monday, June 9th, GM Jason Botterill held a press conference announcing Lane Lambert as the new head coach of the Seattle Kraken. I'm going to lay out a few talking points from the press conference, and then I'll toss to the rest of you to see how we are feeling about Lambert now that we've heard from the new bench boss. So to open the presser, Botterill had many positive things to say about his new head coach, as one would hope. He began by saying, quote, "At the end of the day, Lane is a winner. He won a Stanley Cup in 2018 with the Washington Capitals, and since 2015, he has been a part of 21 NHL Stanley Cup playoff series. He won a Stanley Cup in 2018 with the Washington Capitals, and since 2015, he has been a part of 21 playoff series. When the Stanley playoffs are on, Lane is a part of it," end quote. He went on to say, quote, "It became very evident that Lane presented the attributes that we're looking for. The combination of having presence and knowledge to work with our veteran players. He'd also be dedicated to interact with our young players for our organization to take the next step," end quote. In his opening statements, Lambert said, quote, "I knew within about the first 3 minutes that I wanted to be here. The organization is first class all the way. The facilities and everything on down, I could see that right away, and I knew I wanted to be here. I was all in," end quote. One of the opening questions from Mike Benton was in regards to the coaching staff. It was announced last week that 2 members of the coaching staff, assistant coach Dave Lowry and goalie coach Steve Briere, would no longer be with the team. In talking about Jess Campbell, Lambert said that she will still be on the staff next season, and he's had good conversations with her. He praised her development of younger players and said that he's currently in the process of evaluating who else will be the best fit for his staff. And speaking about his plan for the team, he stressed the importance of strong defense and how that impacts the rest of the game to find balance. The balance conversation extended to the implementation of prospects to build the future. Lambert feels that this team is very balanced between vets and prospects. He is very excited to develop these young players into NHL caliber players, with Botterill reinforcing that it is not necessarily Lane's job to get the young players to that point, but that the Coachella Valley and player development staff need to develop them so they can come to the Kraken prepared. When asked how he felt about being brought on in year 5 of Ron Francis's 5-year plan and the expectation to have a winner right away, he said, quote, "I don't feel the pressure of that. I have the expectation on myself of my role, my job, my abilities. You start day 1 and it's a process and journey. Look to get better every day and stick with the process. Then the results take care of themselves. You can't get too far ahead of yourself," end quote. He was also asked about what he has to say to fans who are skeptical that this season can be turned around. And Lambert praised the balance between young and veteran talent, the structure and unity of the organization, and pledged to turn around the back-to-back loss record from this year. One very interesting question to me was that Lambert and Botterill were asked about sharing a practice space and arena with the new PWHL Seattle team. Lambert said that he experienced this before at the Scepters when he was in Toronto last season and felt there was always room to learn from each other. Botterill also said that GM Megan Turner has been talking with President Ron Francis about getting the team started up and growing the game of hockey in the Pacific Northwest. Lastly, when asked about his formula to win and non-negotiables of a Lane Lambert team, he said, quote, "Everyone has to be on the same page, and when they are, you will have success. Everybody is responsible for a job, everybody has a role, everybody knows what that role is, and there aren't any gray areas. My job is to provide an environment for our players to be prepared to have success and to make sure they're ready to go and know exactly what their job is," end quote. In the end, there's a lot of talking points from this press conference. I'm curious, does anything that he said stand out to you or make you feel any different about Lane Lambert compared to last week when this signing was just announced?
Listen, in regards to Lane Lambert, I love his enthusiasm. I love how much he wants to be part of this team and be able to say he's the head coach of the Seattle Kraken. Like, don't get me wrong, I think that's awesome. But there's still a lot of hesitation when it comes to his hiring. I'm still hesitant on Botterill being the general manager, which, makes me skeptical about Lane Lambert being the head coach of the Seattle Kraken. And it's nothing to do with, him as a person. He has been successful as an assistant coach and as an associate coach, but he hasn't found a lot of success as a head coach. Yes, he was in the playoffs his first year with the New York Islanders, but then was fired 45 games into his second season. I want to try to look at this with clear eyes, but I'm having a hard time processing this because is he head coach material? And I think that's where I'm hesitating on. Sure, he could blow us out of the water. He can tell me to shut the hell up, and it very well might happen. But at the same time, I'm really, really struggling in believing that these moves and the hiring of Lane Lambert is going to not only secure a more positive front for the Kraken, but I don't know if this is going to be something that you're going to see attributing on the ice. Like, I don't know if you're going to see more wins, possibly a playoff stretch. I don't know. And I think that's where there's a lot of question marks. Even more now is that there's a lot of confidence coming from the higher up with Botterill and whatnot. But the more I look at it, it's the same people making the same decisions that they've made since the start of this franchise. And sure, Botterill's GM, but Francis is still in there. And part of me still goes, is Botterill just a puppet? And that's kind of where I sit. Listen, there's a lot of positives to look at with Lane Lambert. He knows how to work with young players because he's done so at the junior level. And I say again, I hope he proves me wrong. But like I said, there's a hope. And I'm not too confident in saying that he's going to lead the Kraken to the promised land.
First of all, I really think Lambert's extensive Stanley Cup and playoff experience is extremely valuable. Even though he spent the vast majority of it as an associate coach or not as a head coach, he knows what these environments are like. He's been in those high-stakes, high-pressure rooms. He remembers that. A player knowing this is cool. It adds a little bit, but it doesn't necessarily elevate their level of play. Coaches, on the other hand, provide value based on their knowledge, experience, and ability to communicate these two things effectively. So I am stoked and think this makes Lambert valuable already. Not to mention his career head coaching record of 61, 46, and 20 is not horrible. I also just wanted to say that I love that Jessica Campbell is officially coming back. I mean, I think we all knew she would be. It's amazing for the league to have a woman trailblazing in such a high role, and I don't think there's any evidence she was a contributor to our woes last year, although I don't think Bylsma was either. I think Jess brings value beyond coaching as well to the team. She serves as an icon for women in sports, and also as a public figure and ambassador for the Kraken. She therefore brings tremendous value on and off the ice, and it makes sense to give her some grace and allow her to stay. I do, however, wish this grace was also extended to Bylsma. And lastly, I find Lambert's comment on process over results being key. In anything in life, you gotta nail the process, and the results won't always be there, but results are subject to things outside of your control sometimes. In hockey, these things might be injuries, lucky bounces, or other human factors. If we have a solid process that leads us to having the highest odds to win each night, that's all you can really ask for as a fan. If the foundation is there, we get to keep spinning that slot machine until the odds and process both work out in our favor and we make a cup run.
We also had one other big piece of news from the last week, courtesy of Frank Saravelli of Daily Faceoff. After posting an article about buyout candidates this offseason, BTW listener Kraken for Life at SBellman523 responded to Saravelli asking how Phillip Grubauer was left off this list. Seravalli then responded by saying, because the Kraken aren't buying him out. When pressed on the source of this info, Frank simply said, me, and I am so sorry, S. Bellman 523, but I am still giggling over that mic drop kind of comment in that interaction from Frank. We, and many others, have spent weeks, no, not even weeks, we have spent months talking about how highly likely a Grubauer buyout must be this summer, and now that this apparently isn't the case, how are we feeling, and what do we think the path forward is for the 25-26 season?
Okay, so when I first saw this conversation between Frank Seravalli and Kraken for Life, I was gobsmacked because as all of you were probably thinking the same thing as me, is, Phillip Grubauer is not going to be a Seattle Kraken next year. And, there's Frank going on about saying, no, he is. They're not going to buy him out. Which, if that's the case, it's the stupidest decision in the world. Grubauer's already stated he is not a backup goaltender. And his play has also stated that he can't be relied upon as a starter. Joe Daccord has also taken the role as starter. And Grubauer doesn't want to be a backup, but also his numbers aren't even that good as a backup. So if the Kraken decide to keep him on this season, I think it's stupid, just downright stupid. Great servant for the club, but he needs to go. Like, we need to end this marriage amicably, because I think that if Grubauer remains on the team, it's going to get toxic. He's going to expect to play. His play is not going to improve, and he's going to get more and more frustrated while fans go, why the hell is he still here? Make a change. Be drastic. Be daring. The Kraken need to do this offseason. Be cutthroat. Get rid of Grubauer. Get rid of some of the other pieces, that may have some light at the end of the tunnel, but you got to get rid of them. And if Frank is right about this, I'm going to lose my mind, but it's also Frank, and I believe half the things he says, maybe even a quarter. So if Frank Seravalli is correct, well, it is what it is. And if he's not, well, guess what? We got Frank.
The buyout of Gru doesn't make a ton of sense to me, so I'm not super surprised here, but nothing makes a ton of sense with Gru, to be honest. Playing him more, playing him less, trading him, buying him out, man. The issue with the buyout is that we would save $4 million next year against the cap, save $2.8 million the year after, but then lose $1.7 million the next 2 years straight. So if we were gearing up for a run right now, it would make sense to buy out. Like if our competitive window is like the next year or the next 2 years. But I feel like our competitive window is likely right around when Gru leaves anyway. When you see Beniers, the rest of the core sort of develop, and we'll probably have other pieces we can surround them with by then, hopefully, like knock on wood, holy, you never know. So it might make more sense to trade him and not have to pay against the cap for a ghost that doesn't exist in 2027 through 2029. We would be paying these 1.7 mil. A smarter move, in my opinion, would be to trade him. Here's where I will tip my hat to Emerald City Hockey, who wonderfully included an asset calculation for dumping Grubauer's contract onto another team. And basically what that dumping means is we would have to pay another team the 29th pick in the draft to eat 50% of Gru's contract, or the 18th pick in the draft to eat 100% of Gru's contract over the next 2 years, which is extremely costly as well. And that's just because the team really isn't getting a lot of value out of Gru, the same way the Kraken aren't, and they're having to pay a lot of money. So you might see a team that's at the bottom of the league, like a Chicago or a team like that will offer to help the better team. Well, not to say the Kraken are a better team, but like help the teams that are better than them with some contract relief. And that's where, so for 50% retained, teams would usually ask about like the 29th pick in the draft. So a first round pick. And then to eat 100%, it would be the 18th pick in the draft. And that would be over the next 2 years. They would eat the contract. So we would, or it would be 50%. So we would either pay like $2.9 million per year this year and next year, and then never again, or we would pay nothing ever again starting right now for both of those. So that might be a worthwhile option. But I think this is what makes it so hard. Both of these options don't seem to make sense when the team is as bad as it is right now. But if the team wanted to win this year or next year really bad, I would trade Gru at full salary and include enough value to be an 18th pick in the draft, so we wouldn't have to pay anything against the cap for him, like a 2027 18th pick worth of value. Maybe some like super delayed prospects drafted highly, or some future firsts or seconds. I am on team trade Gru, and thanks again to ECH.
And finally, to close things out here, we're going to do a quick rapid-fire news roundup. Only 2 things to really touch on this week. First up, we have the Stanley Cup update. At the time of our recording, we are 3 games into the Stanley Cup Finals between the Florida Panthers and Edmonton Oilers, with the defending champs holding a 2-1 series lead. Game 1 saw the Oilers take a 4-3 overtime win, with Leon Draisaitl scoring the game-winning goal. Game 2 was a double OT game, with Brad Marchand securing the 5-4 win for the Panthers. And then in Game 3, the Panthers showed absolutely no mercy when they started playing in Florida in taking the Oilers down 6-1. One little anecdote with this one is, with this win, Florida head coach Paul Maurice has reached a milestone of 1,000 combined career wins across both the regular season and Stanley Cup playoffs. And Alex, you said that you have a little anecdote, a little stat that you wanted to provide here as well.
In regards to the Florida Panthers and Edmonton Oilers final, I just want to point something out. Nathan MacKinnon has 7 goals in the NHL playoffs. Connor McDavid has 6. Nathan MacKinnon hasn't played a freaking game of hockey in almost a month. You know, they call Connor McDavid McJesus, but he ain't floating on ice or skating on ice. The man's sinking in the water. Like, people are calling you one of the best. Play like it, because they need your goals. Without this, congratulations, Florida. You went back-to-back. You are the Stanley Cup champions.
The NHL Awards are being presented on June 12th prior to Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals. The broadcast will be headlined by the announcements of the Hart and Vezina Trophy winners. We have learned a few of the winners from other awards, though, from a series of reveals on social media. Here are some of the winners who were recently announced. The Selke Award for Best Defensive Forward went to Alexander Barkov of the Florida Panthers. Barkov was also awarded with the King Clancy Memorial Trophy, given to the player with the most notable leadership and community contribution. Alex Ovechkin will take the Mark Messier Leadership Award. This one is interesting because it is solely Mark Messier who chooses the winner based on the nominees put out. The Bill Masterson Memorial Trophy, given to the player who best exemplifies perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey, was presented to Sean Monahan of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Nikita Kucherov claimed the Ted Lindsay Award, a trophy awarded to the most outstanding player as voted by NHLPA members. The Jack Adams Award, remember months and months ago when Alex was convinced that Dan Bilesma would win this award? Well, he didn't, because this award for the best head coach was awarded to the Washington Capitals' Spencer Carberry. And the Calder Memorial Trophy, the one that was formerly held by Matty Beniers a few years ago, was given to Lane Hudson of the Montreal Canadiens. So we still have a couple awards that need to be announced and handed out on Thursday. So if you're interested in that, make sure you tune in prior to Game 4 puck drop. And with that, that's going to do it for this week. Like we said, it was a very exciting week, and there's only more excitement coming your way. Now, on the Beneath the Waves sides of things, Heather, could you let everyone know what we have lined up for them next week?
So next week for us, we will be recapping the Kraken's history in the free agency, and it is very interesting to look back at these players and see where they are now and how they've performed. So you're not going to want to miss that one.
Perfect. And Derek, could you let everyone know where they can find Beneath the Waves online?
Absolutely, Matt. And I just wanted to say, the summer season is upon us. It is getting hot AF outside. We got tank tops, we got shirts, we got dog bandanas at bit.ly/BTW store. That's bit.ly/BTW store. We have the Monty Mania line. We got Joey DeCord merch. Go to bit.ly/BTW store and check it out. Also, please drop a follow and a 5-star review on the podcast app of your choice that you're currently listening to this on. It would help us out a ton. And on that note, please follow us on all socials. We've been putting out a lot of short form content lately on places like TikTok, Instagram, and even YouTube Shorts. Also, we just hit 100 subscribers on YouTube, so go join us there. Thank you so much. It is completely free to you and would make our day, so join us everywhere at BTWSEA. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next week.
We going. beneath the waves, going beneath the waves.